Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
Weather forecasters are saying that the smoke is going to be a major factor in the next 24 to 72 hours.
As wildfire smoke blankets BC, officials urge you to be very careful amid the haze and heat.
Simply put, heat makes wildfire smoke worse, and wildfire smoke makes heat worse.
Plus,
City Council should be picking fights with gangs, extortionists, and drug dealers.
a Surrey City Councillor launches her bid for the mayor's chair with swipes at the incumbent. And a black bear gets too close to some park goers in Burnaby.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. You can see it, smell it, and in some cases, taste it. Wildfire smoke has blanketed much of British Columbia, prompting all sorts of warnings. And as Keir Junos reports, several fires in the province and beyond are being blamed.
Here in Abbotsford, that typically stunning view of Mount Baker in nearby Washington State is really tough to find right now because of hazy conditions. And that's all thanks to wildfire smoke that has settled into the Fraser Valley and Metro Vancouver, prompting air quality warnings expected to last for a couple of days or at least until the weather changes. Metro Vancouver says some of that smoke is coming from fires east of Hope, some near Whistler. Some of that smoke is coming from a large fire complex in the Caribou region and down in the U.S. The forest minister says that some of that smoke is also coming from fires in Yukon and the Northwest Territories.
Although it may feel like summer is winding down, we are still in an active wildfire season. Everybody must do what they can to help prevent new wildfire starts.
The smoke may linger for the next 3 days, so health officials are urging people to limit their time outdoors.
Both heat and wildfire smoke are stressors on the body, and simply put, heat makes wildfire smoke worse, and wildfire smoke makes heat worse.
And forecasts show that heat will stick around with the smoke into the weekend. Abbotsford hit 30 degrees on Wednesday. 9 other areas in BC are under heat warnings, including the Fraser Canyon and Boundary regions and the north and central coasts. Environment Canada says some rain may fall in southern BC, along with thunder and lightning.
The concern with this system would be the amount of rain, which isn't expected to be too substantial. And then we've also got the risk of lightning. And if we're not getting a lot of rain with the system, then the lightning could be a potential hazard and initiate potentially more fires.
As for when the smoke may clear,
we've got another ridge of high pressure that looks like it's going to re-strengthen over the area and bring more potential for warm temperatures again. So that would stabilize the atmosphere and may not let whatever smoke comes in out to a very great extent.
Until then, people are reminded to be careful outside, wear a mask if need be, and call for medical help if they're having trouble breathing. Keir Junos, CBC News, Abbotsford.
There was a frightening incident for a crew of BC Wildfire staff earlier in the day. A helicopter carrying firefighters made what's being called a forced landing near Pemberton. The CBC's Liam Britton is here with details. Liam, what more do we know?
Well, Dan, first off, the good news. There was no one seriously hurt in this incident. What we've been told is that late in the morning, a helicopter with a pilot and 3 members of an initial attack crew on board made a forced landing en route to a wildfire south of Pemberton. The head of the wildfire service says the 4 were able to walk afterward, but paramedics say they did take 2 to hospital and they were in stable condition. The Transportation Safety Board says they've been notified of a helicopter accident in harsh terrain, and they're assessing next steps.
Do we know anything about how this happened?
Well, reporters did ask Forest Minister Ravi Parmar about issues like crew fatigue and the haze, which many of us in BC, you and I included, are getting a taste of firsthand. Now, he says it's too early to comment on possible causes, but does point to investments in new technology, equipment, and firefighter hiring.
It was a record year in terms of the number of recruits that wanted to be a part of the BC Wildfire Service, but without a doubt, we are in September and we're still talking about very much an active wildfire season.
And similarly, Cliff Chapman, who's the head of the Wildfire Service, expressed confidence in crews despite many being called on to fight fires in Yukon, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and beyond.
We have
deployed to more agencies outside of British Columbia than we have before in supporting their fire situation, while also being prepared and ready for our own, which we are, and we stand ready as we have all summer.
And as we've heard, these late season wildfires are a growing concern, so crews may be busy for some time.
Liam Britton reporting. Thanks very much. Passengers sailing from Tawasin to Swartz Bay on a BC ferry witnessed some tense moments earlier in the day after a person went overboard mid-sailing. It happened shortly after 1 p.m. Another passenger tells CBC News he saw crews scrambling to launch their support vessel, and it took about 20 minutes to retrieve the person in the water. BC Ferries confirms the passenger is in stable condition and later taken to hospital. A BC man has pleaded not guilty in the stabbing death of a young mother of 2 in Prince George. A warning, some of the details in this story are disturbing. Zane Xavier Wood is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Isabel Thomas. Thomas was found dead in her home in Prince George. Police say she was targeted in a home invasion. The Crown claims she was stabbed to death in front of her 6-year-old and 6-month-old daughters. The trial is set to last 5 weeks.
In the room.
Unionized government workers are continuing their rotating strike as they try to find a new deal with the province. The two sides remain far apart on wages, and no formal bargaining is in the works as of now. As Katie DeRosa explains, the fight comes as the BC government grapples with a $10 billion deficit.
Day 2 of the rotating 72-hour strike by more than 2,000 unionized government workers. The BCGEU and the NDP government, though, remain far apart on what constitutes fair wages.
We have not resumed negotiations. The government has so far refused to come back to the table with a revised wage mandate.
The BCGEU represents 34,000 government employees, including correctional officers, sheriffs, and wildfire fighters. The union is pushing for an 8.25% pay bump over 2 years, plus cost of living adjustments. It claims the province is offering less than half that. Finance Minister Brenda Bailey won't confirm what the government is offering, but she paints a tough financial picture.
We are in a time where economic circumstances have changed here in the province.
More bluntly, the BC government is $10 billion in the red, a record deficit that has forced a government hiring freeze and some layoffs.
Public servants did not create this deficit.
The impasse could be a sign of things to come with other public sector unions, most of which have contracts that expire this year. There are just over 450,000 unionized public sector employees in BC, including teachers, nurses, and university staff. The Finance Ministry calculates that a 1% raise for all of those workers would cost taxpayers $419 million a year. One labor expert says government is in a tough spot, trying to maintain union support and balance the books.
The BC NDP is very sensitive on this issue because they're the party that are often painted as the kind of big spenders and, the ones who kind of cave to the public sector unions. Those workers want to be paid decently.
The Hospital Employees Union did reach a new framework deal with the province that includes an unspecified wage hike for more than 67,000 workers. But the BCGEU is slamming that deal, claiming the wage boost is below inflation and undermines its own fight. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
Surrey City Councillor Linda Annis has announced her candidacy for mayor in next year's election. As our municipal affairs reporter Justin McElroy explains, Annis is challenging current Mayor Brenda Locke on a host of issues.
Linda Annis, 2-term councillor in the city of Surrey, topped the polls 3 years ago for the number of votes for a councillor, and says that with her Surrey First Party, she will be challenging Brenda Locke next year in the municipal elections. Had a press conference and an unveiling of her candidacy today. Talked about a number of things, said that she wanted to stop the proposed 10,000-seat sports arena that the city is investigating for the center of the city. Also talked about wanting to bring light rail to Surrey as well, but had her harshest criticism around the transition to the Surrey police force. As people might remember, Locke tried to stop it. She took legal action against the provincial government that said, no, you have to keep going with this. You can't go back to the RCMP. And Anna says that she, if elected mayor, would be focusing on having a better relationship with the province and with the police force.
Instead of picking fights with the provincial government or the police board or Surrey Police Service, City Council should be picking fights with gangs, extortionists, and drug dealers.
So, 3 years ago when Brendan Locke defeated Doug McCallum, a lot of the campaign was focused on whether there was too much dysfunction and too much arguing that was happening at City Hall. Safe to say that next year's election is shaping up to have similar themes.
And what does the current mayor say to Annis's attacks?
Well, we spoke to Locke today. She said that she fully defended them arguing for the police force and getting more money from the province, and said that when it comes to a sports arena, Surrey desperately needs it.
We're a city of going to be 1 million people, and we don't have a large arena or gathering place in this city. That is, I can't tell you one city that doesn't have a large arena.
She mentioned Langley, she mentioned Abbotsford, of course, Vancouver and Richmond. So it will be interesting to see what voters decide 13 months from now.
Indeed. Justin McElroy, thanks very much. Lower Mainland home sales rose almost 3% in August compared with last year. The group Greater Vancouver Realtors says home sales in the region totaled 1,959 last month. That's up from 1,904 sales recorded in August 2024. But they say it's still more than 19% below the 10-year seasonal average. The real estate board says the market appears to be recovering, quote, albeit somewhat slowly from the first half of the year. It says data suggests buyers shopping in more expensive price points are re-entering the market in a meaningful way. The Greater Vancouver Realtors covers Whistler down to West Vancouver, Maple Ridge to North Vancouver, and South Delta to Vancouver, among other communities. A black bear has gone viral after sneaking up on parkgoers on Burnaby Mountain. Conservation officers are setting up a trap to catch the animal, and as John Hernandez reports, if caught, it's set to be killed.
A wildlife encounter that was a bit too close for comfort. Hello? On Thursday, parkgoers at Burnaby Mountain Park got an impromptu visit from a black bear. All but 2 of them scrambled to get away. This couple seemingly unaware the bear was headed straight for them.
Initially, we also had our daughter with us, so we were just running from it, and then we just saw the bear approaching towards the crowd.
Divyanshu and Apsana Chabisa filmed the video from the parking lot, hearts racing as the bear inched closer to the unsuspecting pair.
We tried our best. Apart from us, there were a couple of more people who were screaming to alert them.
Warning calls eventually heard. No one was injured. The incident, seen online by millions, also captured the attention of provincial conservation officers.
The public safety threshold was exceeded for a bear that we can tolerate in the community based on that behavior.
The park still welcoming visitors, but food isn't allowed here. A live bear trap has been set up. Officers say this particular black bear had been seen here 3 days in a row leading up to the incident.
It's the kind of bear that's completely lost its fear of humans, and it'll just walk up and grab food, likely from your hand.
If the bear is caught, officers say it will have to be killed. The incident, a reminder to do your part not to attract the animals and to always be bear aware.
Be aware of your surroundings. We live in wildlife country, and you could encounter a bear at any time. But don't leave food unattended. That's the biggest challenge we have with people.
A social media celebrity whose days feeding in this park are likely numbered. John Hernandez, CBC News, Burnaby.
Darius Madavi joins us with a first look at the weather and a map that doesn't show a lot of relief or clear air for anybody, really.
That is the case, Dan. You can see how much smoke is moving across BC in the satellite imagery. Lots of it moving down the province, but also a lot coming up from Washington State and a ton being put off by fires on the inland central coast. If we zoom in a little bit further, a little bit closer here, you can see a lot of that smoke heading over to Vancouver, largely from this fire down south of the border. This is the Ferry fire in Washington State, heading up through this valley here, down the Fraser Valley and right to Vancouver, and meeting some smoke from the Powell River fire as well.
Okay, thanks, Darius.
Thank you.
A small BC community is getting a new fire hall. Why it hits close to home, next. The new school year is off to a rocky start for post-secondary institutions in BC. As Jonah Bailon reports, one Vancouver college is seeing staff laid off, and faculty worry students will suffer as well.
For some faculty members at Vancouver Community College, this back-to-school semester will be their last. The VCC Faculty Association says more than 30 faculty members from 6 different departments have received notice that this semester will be their last one at the college. This is the 3rd round of cuts this year, and the Faculty Association says they were told to expect a 4th in January 2026. It also says the cuts are affecting departments predominantly serving international students.
All of the students lose with these kind of cuts, all of the students, whether they're international, domestic, because these cuts and the ones that they're talking about in January are going to be even deeper, affecting apparently administration and staff as well as faculty. You know, all of the programs are going to feel it, all of the students are going to feel it. It's going to mean fewer opportunities for students. It's going to mean fewer services for students, because those things will get cut too.
Other post-secondary institutions, including Kwantlen Polytechnic University and Lingara College, have also announced layoffs in recent weeks. Those institutions have attributed cuts to changes in immigration policies that reduce the number of international students.
I feel Canada and BC's approach to post-secondary is immature and embarrassing. I mean, imagine, for 20 years we've relied on foreign families to fund our post-secondary system. And some colleges have built up huge surpluses, and the government loves that, and built buildings with that money.
The BC Ministry of Post-Secondary Education has told CBC News that universities and colleges across the province are facing financial pressures due to factors beyond their control. It also said they're working with institutions to manage costs and improve revenues. Jonna Bailon, CBC News, Vancouver.
A small community in BC's Thompson region is getting a new fire hall. As Shelley Joyce explains, for one woman, the building and the volunteers running it hits close to home.
It's practice night at the Monte Creek Volunteer Fire Hall. 17 firefighters of all ages, all volunteers, are here to learn the ropes in preparation for the grand opening and ribbon cutting of their new fire hall. Linda Herman is here too. She and her husband Ed donated this piece of land to make this hall a reality.
This is my husband and myself, the old house that burnt, and the address. And this was put together by friends of the family just to give us some memories of the old days. These are all of the grandchildren as babies and little ones, and you can see that he loved his grandchildren tremendously. They were very spoiled.
Ed was a passionate advocate for their local rural volunteer fire department. He died in a house fire just across the field from their new home.
It was over in 30 minutes. I was sitting in the car and the roof was caving in. It was gone. Like, my husband was gone by that time, the house was gone, and it was just gone, and nobody could go near it. It was so hot.
Linda chose to rebuild her new home in this same spot. She can see the new fire hall from her deck. She often walks down this road to check in on the team and just hang out for a bit. She thinks their house fire in June of 2021 opened people's eyes to the important work that volunteer firefighters do for the community.
It's amazing. Young people, all kinds of aged people, volunteering their time, getting up whenever they have to out of their beds and coming out to help somebody. And it's just wonderful to see it.
The Monte Creek and Pritchard fire departments, who work side by side, will celebrate Ed in a very special way.
We have a little tradition in at least our fire department, that we name the trucks after people that have left us, so we'll dedicate the engine to Ed.
Linda Herman says seeing this is a dream come true.
He would be just jumping for joy at this experience and knowing that the fire hall was coming in. He would have been so excited, so excited.
Shelley Joyce, CBC News, Kamloops.
A hazy day across the south coast. Your BC-wide forecast with Darius is next. The future of a large flock of BC ostriches remains in doubt. The animal survived an avian flu outbreak at Universal Ostrich Farm in Edgewood in the Kootenays, but they've been ordered killed because of concerns about the disease, despite claims from supporters that they possess huge scientific value. Ashley Fraser asks the experts to break down those claims and the risks.
So this ostrich farm in BC has received a lot of love from Dr. Oz, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and a lot of other supporters. They all want to save a flock of 400 ostriches on a BC farm. But there's a catch. The birds were in contact with a deadly virus, H5N1, a type of avian flu. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency ordered the birds to be culled because of an outbreak in December of last year, where 69 of 468 ostriches died. That order led to a legal fight between the CFIA and the owner, Universal Ostrich. They say the ostriches shouldn't be culled because the remaining birds have survived the outbreak and could be studied. Since then, a number of claims have been made about the birds, including that they are unique in surviving H5N1. I asked an infectious disease veterinarian about that.
As expected, not everyone dies with influenza when it comes to ostriches. Different species have different responses to it, and we don't expect all individuals to die. And it probably worked its way through. The challenge is we don't know that, and influenza can circulate in individuals without causing signs of disease.
But during court hearings earlier this year, the owner pleaded their case, claiming that the birds have herd immunity. But the infectious disease veterinarian says that's a tough claim to prove.
Well, think about us with influenza, right? We can get influenza a variety of times. Sure, you've survived influenza. You may be protected to some degree, but you certainly can't say this group of birds is never going to get influenza again.
Meanwhile, the former TV host and current administrator for the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, has claimed that the birds hold
huge scientific value to the global community
because they have survived the virus. But a virologist I spoke to said this wouldn't be new research.
People have done experimental studies infecting ostriches with H5N1 and other avian influenza subtypes. So you wouldn't really be learning necessarily anything new. So that part has certainly been overstated by Dr. Oz.
And other Trump officials like U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrote in a letter to the CFIA that says he believes significant scientific knowledge may be garnered from following the ostriches in a controlled environment. But is that actually possible?
It's very difficult to test for influenza antibodies in almost any species, because we've all been infected with flu so many times. So the test you have to use to try to address some of the technical issues with this often require live virus in a containment laboratory. And I'm quite certain that the ostrich farm does not have access to that.
Survivors probably have antibodies in them, just like you have antibodies if you've gotten through flu. So there's not really anything too unique about that. There have been a lot of comment about, how these are important for research, valuable for research, but no one's actually ever said what, right? What are we actually going to get out of these individuals? And what value is there versus risk?
That risk is why the CFIA has ordered the birds to be culled in the first place. H5N1 strain of avian influenza is currently being monitored worldwide, and while it mainly affects birds, it can spread to other animals and humans. BC has already been largely affected by a spread of avian flu, with over 8 million birds impacted. There was also one human case of H5N1 in BC earlier this year that required critical care in hospital. Along with some cases in the US, one resulted in death. The experts I spoke to say that the more the virus is spread, the more it could mutate and further affect livestock and humans.
Every time it jumps into a mammal, or especially jumps into a person, it can change. And the big concern would be is if it combines with a mammalian virus. That's how we get pandemic flu viruses.
The CFIA says the response to H5N1 is an approach known as stamping out. That response follows the CFIA's agreement with the World Organization for Animal Health.
Canada is party to trade agreements, which essentially means that if there is an outbreak of H5N1 bird flu on a poultry farm, which ostriches are considered poultry, then the first line response to that is by culling the entire flock. And the stamping out policy itself is really required because this is the only way to prevent H5N1 from spreading. And when it does spread, especially to certain species of poultry, especially chickens and turkeys, it really wipes out the entire flock in a pretty gruesome way.
The experts I spoke to say culling is the typical method used when fighting an outbreak like this, but they say this case does raise questions about whether culling is the only option.
If you had a farm that said, okay, I've got influenza here, we're going to report this right away, we think we can avoid a cull, we want to talk about this, and while we're doing this, we're going to do everything possible to contain this virus. I can get on board with that. This situation is different, though.
And Weiss says this case is different because according to court documents, the ostriches were in open pens with free access to wild birds and animals. Even after quarantine orders were put in place, inspectors noted wild animals were interacting with the ostriches and other safety measures weren't followed.
They've been posting pictures of themselves with the birds without PPE. They've invited a convoy to the farm that's quarantined. This is not a situation where you get confidence that they're doing what they can do to contain the disease while you're fighting this.
Weiss says this particular case has gone beyond the typical response to control a disease outbreak.
It's moved away from disease control and the animals in a lot of ways to anti-government, anti-regulation, to a variety of other talking points beyond disease.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is meeting with his cabinet for 2 days to chart out his government's priorities ahead of the Parliament's fall session, hanging in the air an unresolved trade war with the Trump White House. But as Ashley Burke reports, the Prime Minister says don't expect white smoke from the U.S. yet.
The Prime Minister arriving to meet his cabinet with an update on his talks with Donald Trump.
I last spoke to the President Monday evening. We spoke at length on a wide range of issues. It was a good conversation.
That conversation unfolding the same day Canada officially dropped some of its retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. to try and reach a deal.
The clerk of the Privy Council is there in Washington as we speak, that is meeting with the U.S. counterparts.
The government wants the U.S. to drop or lower its tariffs hitting Canadian industries hard, like aluminum and steel, lumber, and the auto sector. But Carney says there's no sign of relief yet.
Don't expect immediate white smoke on one of these strategic sectors, but that's the type of conversation that we're having and will continue to have.
The Conservatives' leader firing back, accusing Carney of breaking election promises.
He promised elbows up, he's been elbows down. He promised he would have dollar-for-dollar tariffs. He promised that he would get a deal with President Trump by July the 21st. There has been no deal.
These pollsters told Cabinet Canadians are less afraid of Trump and tariffs than they were during the election, giving the government time to reach a deal.
50% of the people said they will succeed, 50% said he will not succeed. So that means, for me, the Prime Minister has some room, okay, to solve this issue. He doesn't need to solve the issue in short term because the expectation are it will be difficult for the next few months, and people understand that.
American political strategist Kevin Roberts is expected to speak to Cabinet tomorrow. He's the head of a conservative think tank behind Project 2025, a blueprint designed to get Trump to consolidate power. The Prime Minister's office says that it's a move to try and better understand the Trump administration's mindset and playbook. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Toronto.
CBC News has learned the Canadian-led NATO mission in Latvia is dealing with major equipment issues due to a shortage of spare parts. Murray Brewster explains the problem and what's being done to fix it.
Drives like a boat. What kind of boat?
Prime Minister Mark Carney, up close and personal with military vehicles in Latvia. All of it spit and polish. And it likely took a lot of work for Canadian troops to get those tanks, armored vehicles, and howitzers in place. Internal Department of National Defense documents obtained by CBC News show during a training exercise with NATO allies in Latvia this summer, up to 30% of the Canadian contingent was considered combat ineffective, basically unable to move. Vehicles were off the road because of Canadian supply chain issues and a parts backlog. Trucks, troop carriers, and tanks were all affected. Getting spare parts for the old Leopard tanks has long been a nightmare.
So we have not completely squared that away. And I have the priority of parts that are available in the Canadian system. But the minister just told me a few minutes ago that that's one of his top priorities, and he's actively working on it.
We are procuring, we're moving quickly on procurement reform.
The Carney government has put an extra $9.3 billion into DND some of it meant to address decades of underfunding. Experts say these shortages were exacerbated by the former Trudeau government's plan to buy new military equipment while forcing D&D to cut elsewhere. Canada has been in Latvia for years, a mission meant to deter Russian aggression.
By now, for heaven's sake, we should have figured out how to keep our troops in harm's way with the right levels of equipment, with the right levels of spare and ammunition supplies.
Not all of the woes are money related. Some of it is bureaucracy. Take, for example, those Leopard tanks. Spare parts are manufactured in Germany, but instead of shipping them directly to Latvia, D&D requires they be sent to Canada, logged into a system, and then shipped back to Europe. Marie Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump is under more pressure tonight after several women went public with accounts of being trafficked and abused while in the clutches of sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein. Georgie Smythe shows us how Trump's old friend is a growing liability.
Hello, everyone. Marina Lesera says she was just 14 when she met Jeffrey Epstein.
A friend of mine in the neighborhood told me that I could make $300 to give an older guy a massage. It went from a dream job to the worst nightmare.
One by one, survivors of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell shared their identities and their stories.
I was systematically recruited, trafficked across this great nation, groomed, and assaulted.
They were flanked by bipartisan lawmakers, all demanding Congress support the release of all Justice Department files related to Epstein. The disgraced financier was indicted on sex trafficking charges in 2019. Just over a month later, he died by suicide while in custody in New York.
And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal.
Moments later in the Oval Office, President Donald Trump dismissed calls to release the documents.
So this is a Democrat hoax. Nobody's ever satisfied.
Trump has struggled to distance himself from his former friend amid criticism from MAGA supporters that his administration no longer vows to release all files. Some documents and videos were released this week, including apparent police interviews recorded in the early 2000s.
A friend of mine told me about Jeffrey.
But critics say much of that was already public. That's why Democrats and a handful of Republicans say they're petitioning for a vote on legislation to force the Department of Justice to publish all the files. Survivors also spoke directly to Donald Trump.
I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
They say they're compiling their own list of Epstein's associates. And to stay tuned. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Big coffee chains have begun trying to appeal to customers looking for more protein in their diet. Anise Dowry looks at what's driving demand and why not everyone is convinced it's a positive change.
Whether it's Starbucks or Tim Hortons, new protein drinks are grabbing customers' interest.
If I'm getting a coffee anyways, I would always go for the protein choice, always.
Oh my God, this is like the best thing ever because 20 grams of protein's a lot, especially in a latte.
I think they're probably good, but they're probably like upcharging for protein lattes.
At Tim Hortons, that high protein drink does cost more. At Starbucks, they won't say yet.
They're going to get potentially some higher margin.
This retail expert says it's a way to make more money.
I think marketers have done their research. They've realized there's a big market there. Supposedly the market's about a $2 billion market, and it's growing about 7% a year. So, you know, there is a big demand for it.
That demand means protein is no longer stuck in the meat aisle. And it's not just in new coffees. Some milks have higher protein. Pasta too, with high protein, even cereal.
What people actually need and what people think they need.
But this dietitian and researcher says social media has people overestimating what they need, whether it's to gain muscle or lose weight.
We see the food companies creating products and responding to consumer demand for protein. But at the source of the consumer demand is often a lot of misinformation.
Can I get one of the protein ice? That consumer demand could also be driven by trends, which can change.
We looked 20 years ago and it was all about low carbs, and this is a bit of an evolution of that, a bit of an evolution of keto.
It's maybe protein is just the next in the evolution of the healthy eating trend.
Health-wise, that extra protein may not hurt or help.
For most people, it's benign. Whether you're going to drink a latte that has 28 grams of protein, or you're going to drink a latte that has 8 grams of protein, that's not going to have a huge overall impact on your health.
So a little extra protein in your coffee might only mean a little less money in your wallet. Anis Haydari, CBC News, Calgary.
At least 15 people have been killed and 18 others injured after a funicular derailed in Lisbon, Portugal. The yellow and white streetcar, one of Lisbon's famous attractions, derailed during the evening rush hour. Eyewitnesses told local media it careened down a steep hill, apparently out of control. Visuals indicate it may have smashed into a building where the road bends. 5 of the injured are in serious condition. A child is among them. Officials say an unknown number of foreigners are also among those hurt. It's unclear what caused the crash. Authorities are calling it the worst in the city's recent history, though. Global Affairs Canada says it is not aware of any Canadian citizens affected. It is a race against time in eastern Afghanistan to find survivors of Sunday's powerful earthquake. At least 1,400 people were killed in that disaster, and that also left more than 3,000 injured. Johanna Wagstaff explains how a so-called moderate quake turned so catastrophic.
More than 1,000 people killed, entire villages wiped out, and it all came from a magnitude 6 earthquake. At first glance, that magnitude doesn't sound unusual. We actually see 100 to 150 earthquakes of this size every year. So why was this one so deadly? Because of where it struck, when it struck, and how people build their homes. It hit just before midnight when most people were asleep, with an epicenter less than 10 kilometers deep. And in rural Afghanistan, homes are built with mud, brick, stone, raw timber, locally available and affordable materials. But this monolithic style isn't engineered to resist the side-to-side shaking an earthquake generates. So buildings simply crumble and bury people inside. That's the crucial difference from wealthier countries where stronger building codes mean drop, cover, hold on, actually save lives, like here in Canada. In this part of Afghanistan, though, the buildings themselves are the danger. And the geology matters too. Afghanistan sits right where the Indian plate and Eurasian plates collide, the same collisions that are forcing the Himalayas higher each year. That makes earthquakes an unavoidable part of life in this region. Add to that the remoteness of the villages, landslides blocking access routes, and ongoing aftershocks, and you can see why this just magnitude 6 ended up being catastrophic.
A challenging day for crews in the Northwest Territories where strong winds are fanning flames and threatening several communities. More from the north next.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
In the Northwest Territories, crews are fighting nearly 90 out-of-control wildfires, which have forced hundreds of people to flee. Juanita Taylor is in Hay River tonight, where there are new concerns about the quality of care for vulnerable evacuees.
Fort Providence, choked under heavy smoke, still in the path of a raging wildfire. But this smoke is from an ignition burn Tuesday, burning off fuel as the wildfire holds steady at the community's edge. Evacuees like Philip Constant anxiously wait for any updates. The 76-year-old elder wants to go home.
You hear a lot of coughing.
Constant says it's been a rough 3 nights in Hay River, sleeping on a cot with hundreds of other evacuees.
They got this army blankets, whatever you call it, these ones. It's very uncomfortable. I mean, it's hard to turn over at. You know, you have to sleep on one side.
Fellow evacuee Brittany Natalie says she wants better care for her elders, the heart of their Dene communities.
They're tired. They were hoping that they were going to get accommodations. We do have people that have mobility issues, and then we do have our elders that will probably find it difficult to actually go onto a raised cot.
Natalie says traditional Dene laws aren't being followed. Elders should be a priority, but she says they're not.
We don't really abide by like modern government rules, just how we basically take care of our people.
The mayor of Hay River says the town is doing its best to make everyone comfortable.
At the beginning, you're in an emergency situation. It's just getting people a place to lay down. Now, absolutely, like we're slowly finding other accommodations, like with beds. For them.
As for Philip Constant, he's just waiting for any word of when he can go back home.
Don't know how long we'll be here.
Crews plan to keep working on securing the ignition line that has kept the wildfire out of Fort Providence so far. Juanita Taylor, CBC News, Hay River, Northwest Territories.
Darius Madavi's here with the BC-wide weather forecast and a new fire to tell us about.
That's right. A major road closure as a result of a fire. We are seeing it grow quite quickly. Now, I know, Dan, I just told you it's a new fire. I should have said this is a growing fire quite quickly. You can see here, this is between Hope and Merritt. If we zoom in here, we're talking about the Monte Creek fire. The Coquihalla is closed as a result of this fire. It remains to be seen when it may reopen. And then if we zoom out, there's another highway closure, this one Highway 20. So we're zooming out, we're zooming in instead to this road heading over to Bella Coola on the inland central coast. Highway 20 here also closed, this one because of the Beef Trail Creek fire. So a number of fires that have grown quite quickly because of these really high temperatures. And, you know, not only that, but crews are worried whether they'll be able to keep them under control enough. And so it's just a precautionary measure in many of these cases, but definitely something to be keeping in mind if you're planning to travel later this week or maybe even into this weekend. We don't know how long those road closures may be in place, but the heat is sticking around. One other thing I wanted to mention, yesterday we saw really high temperatures in many places up around the mid to high 30s, but these places in particular, each of them set a new daily temperature record. 3 of them, Lytton, Ashcroft and Princeton, all set monthly temperature records for those locations, and Lytton at 40.0 degrees tied the all-time September temperature record across Canada. Now, 2 other places have also hit 40.0 degrees, one in Manitoba, one in Saskatchewan, but that record has been untouched for 85 years, and Lytton hit it yesterday. So definitely something to be keeping on in the days ahead. Today was the peak of the heat, but we may still see some high temperatures coming up. Excessive heat warning still in place. Air quality statements blanket the province, including down here in the lower mainland. You can see all that smoke coming off of those fires. Again, some of those ones on the inland central coast putting off a ton of smoke, but also down in Washington State, and one up here between Whistler and Powell River. That one also putting off a lot of smoke. That is also driving the really bad air quality in Squamish and down here in Vancouver. Fire danger remains high as a result. No precipitation still in sight, really. Maybe this weekend a drizzle on some parts of the coast, but mostly we're looking at some convective activity possible in the interior. It also means potential for new lightning strikes and more risk there, so also not great news. Here's our smoke map. Dan, again, really bad air quality in many places tomorrow, so please keep in mind, no matter where you are in southern BC, you're probably going to see some bad air quality. And here's our 5-day forecast. Smoke and haze, the big story over the next couple days.
Okay, we are warned. Thanks very much, Darius.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll hear from some high school students on what they think is missing from their classrooms. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox.
Join CBC's Dan Burritt on September 24th at Dakota's signature fundraising event, the Team Trivia Challenge, supporting Literacy Month in BC. Register your team at dakota.ca. And come watch some amazing soccer as Vancouver Rise takes the pitch this Saturday. Stop by the CBC tent and share your soccer stories for a chance to win some great prizes.
It is the first week of school in BC, and students are hitting the books once again. But some are not satisfied with the subjects they're being taught.
Here's what several students at Vancouver Tech secondary schools say they wish they learned in class.
Our school should teach us more about climate change, just because like it's such a big thing and it's like affecting our world right now.
Maybe more like business-based electives, like on for like the younger grades.
Getting a house, getting a job, going to post-secondary.
But we never really go over how us individually can help improve and make a change. And I feel like that should be taught more. How can we, as a student body, become more of a solution?
What do you wish you'd learned?
Taxes.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I knew how to do taxes.
Budgeting. I wrote down more cooking, though the home ec teachers were good, and maybe some light, housework stuff.
Yeah, that would have been great. And just tell me earlier that I wouldn't be able to afford a house. That would have been great. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, YouTube, and our website.
And we'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. See you then.